Hey there, friends. Welcome to the very first episode of season 2, Who the Heck Did I Marry? All right, so let's start at the very beginning. So, as I kind of said in a previous video, my brother and I were both in our 20s. He would have been around 24, 25 at the time. I was 27. Okay. Both of us were working at decently paying jobs. We were living with my parents because I had gone through college. He did a little college, but decided to just go the job route. He was making good money where he was working. I had been through college, and I was starting to build my career. My degree was in supply chain management. I really kind of focused on the transportation and logistics side of things, which I really loved. So I was working at a trucking company, working on the logistics side of things, and we were both making decent money, but living at home. And of course, because we didn't have a lot of bills to pay, we wasted a lot of our money. And my parents are like, "Hey, you're wasting your money when you could be investing it somewhere that will benefit you in the future. So why don't you guys buy a house?" So we started looking at budgets and everything else. We ended up building a house. So we went into a neighborhood that was freshly building. We picked our model. We got to do all the fun things you do when you build a house. We got to go pick out the carpet, and all of this depended on our budget and lighting and fixtures and all those things. So we did that for the very first time as brother and sister, and it was super fun. My brother and I got along for the most part. We had rough years, but at this point we're mostly adults, and we were doing great. So we built this house, and my brother had a girlfriend at the time who is still a very, very good, dear friend of mine. I always say she's the sister-in-law I never had because my brother ended up never marrying. So we were still very close. But my brother was dating her at the time, so she was around a lot. And then ended up, about the time we were moving in, she decided to move in with us. She had her own room because there was an extra room in the house, and we split the bills 3 ways, which helped everybody out. So brother had a room, she had a room, and I had a room. So it's kind of important because she, kind of helped me a lot through the early stages of what's going on. But she lamented for me the fact that I was single, and she had a coworker at the job that she was working at that she thought I would have a lot in common with, and so she set us up on a blind date. Okay. She gave him my number, I believe, and then he reached out to me and said, let's go to a movie. Okay, so I'm gonna speed through this a little bit because it's not a major player in our story, but I went on the blind date. We went to the movies. It was awkward, very awkward. When the movie was over, I invited him back to my house. I was like, "Do you want to come over and have a drink, or we can watch some TV or a movie at home or something?" We went out after like the dinner hour, so we didn't have to, neither of us had to buy dinner, so it was just a movie. And so he decided to come back to my house so we could hang out a bit. So we're sitting there, and he's on one side of the couch and I'm on the other side of the couch, and it's just awkward. I'm feeling like he's not interested, but yet he's here. And it was about that time that I get a text message from one of my good friends. There was a place when I was in college that we did karaoke every single Thursday. It was a staple at the ASU campus at the Vine. If y'all know, the Vine doesn't exist anymore, which is sad. But anyways, every Thursday night there was karaoke. And it was, if I'm remembering correctly, school was just about to get started. Well, yeah, I'm remembering the dates. It was in August. So school had not quite yet gotten started yet. So we weren't regularly in our swing of every Thursday. When school was on, we were there every single Thursday. So I hadn't heard that a bunch of my friends were going, so I hadn't planned on going, and obviously I had this blind date. So my friend texts me and says, "They're doing a karaoke contest tonight. I signed you up. You better get down here in the next 30 minutes, because that's about how long it would take me to get there." And I was like, "I'm kind of in a blind date situation right now. Let me see if I can get out of it." She's like, "Bring him along. Just get here. You're singing in 30 minutes. And I'm like, okay. So I look over at him and I was like, "Hey, so my friend just messaged me that she signed me up for a karaoke contest. She wants me to come to the bar. You want to come?" I don't do karaoke. I was like, "That's okay. You don't have to sing. Get yourself a beer and you can sit there and we can hang out and Nah, I don't like karaoke. Okay. And at this point, I'm like, we're not clicking. We're not vibing. He doesn't like karaoke. I karaoke just about every Thursday for 5 years, 6 years, maybe longer. I don't know. Because once I graduated, I was still going to karaoke with my friends. So I was like, yeah, I was like, well, my friend signed me up, so I'm going to go. I need to change and put on something a little more comfortable. I was trying to be dressy for this date, but I'm gonna go change. And you finish your drink. I think we like had beers or something. You finish your drink. I'm gonna go change, and then when I'm done, I'll walk you out. Okay. So I came down when I was, quick change. And I was like, all right, you ready to go? And he was like, sure. I was like, you can come with me if you want. Like, I'll drive. You can, ride with me. And now I'll go home. And I was like, okay, talk to you later. So he went on his way and I went on my way. So I get to karaoke, and the karaoke host obviously knows me very well because I karaokeed there for years and years and years. And he says, hey, you're here. He says, do you want to sing a warm-up song before your competition song? Sure. He says, what do you want? I'll put it up right now. And I was like, Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. And he was like, okay, what boy is going to sing it to you? Because there's the male part and the female part, right? And normally I have guy friends with me that I can just hand on the mic. And I was like, I'm just here with Heather. I was like, you sing it. I don't care. Like, nobody can sing it. Like, it's fine. And he was like, okay. So he pulls it up and gives me the mic when it's my turn. And I start singing Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. And when it gets to the male part, I was expecting to either hear nothing or hear the karaoke host sing the part. And it ends up that somebody else starts singing it. I looked down towards the end of my table. There was a whole bunch of tables connected in the center, and everybody just sat in available seats. I was sitting with my friend Heather. She had saved me a seat. We were kind of collectively sitting with some people we knew from the bar regularly, but they weren't our friends. So, when you frequent the same place, you get to know people, especially karaoke wise. So we were just sitting with them because we had nobody else to sit with because most of our friends weren't there. So it is a friend of a friend who I'd never seen or met before at the bar who was singing the male part. And he was decent. Can you all hear my bird in the background? She's, giving me us wolf whistles right now. So he was good. And when we were done singing, and I'm going to say later in the evening, my friend and I were getting ready to leave. So she wanted to say goodbye to the friend we knew. So we went to find them. They were outside in the smoking section that was fenced in, and then there was a gate that would then lead to the parking lot. So my thought was, we were going to quickly go, she was going to say goodbye, and we would leave. Well, it ends up that the friend we knew was talking to somebody else, so she kind of had to wait a minute to say goodbye, and he is standing with the friend that I sang with. We'll call him Ken. So Ken and I start talking, and I thanked him. Thanks so much for jumping in on that song for me. That was great. I really appreciate it. No worries, no problem. I've not seen you around here before. Oh, I just moved back here from Michigan. But when I went to college at Arizona State, I used to come here all the time. Me and the karaoke guy go way back. Oh, okay. I was like, when did you go to ASU? Because I was, several years postgraduate of ASU. It ends up that he's 5 years older than me. So about the time that he left ASU and went back to Michigan was about the time that I turned 21 and started being able to hang out at this bar. So one thing leads to another. We end up talking past close of bar, and the karaoke host is hauling his stuff out to his van, and he sees us standing there talking. He says, hey, what are you guys doing tomorrow night? And I said, nothing. I mean, I moved into a new house and I'm having blinds installed, but when the blind guy is gone, nothing. And he says, well, I'm doing a new karaoke gig and I'm trying to get a few people I know to be there so it looks like I'm awesome and have awesome singers. Will you come? And I said, sure. And Ken says, I'll come too. And he says, hey, let's exchange numbers so we can meet there together. And I said, okay, let's do that. So we exchanged numbers, and then we go on our merry way, expecting to see each other at karaoke the next night. But then I got a text right before I hit my driveway, and it said,